Okay, hey, what's up, you guys? This is Occult Cat TV. And I'm your host, O'Shea. As well, you can call me Atanu or Cool Cat, whatever you desire. So, today I wanted to talk about dragons. What are dragons? Who are they? We always see them in in mythology and symbolisms. We see them in TV, movies, video games, right? In mythology. We're taken back to the time when they talked about slaying dragons. Did dragons exist? Were they truly real? Stay tuned to find out. Okay, so working with dragons is so fun. The thing is, I know dragons have always been with me, like they've been around me. I've walked a path that I always loved dragons. I was always being drawn to dragons, but I never realized how real they were. I didn't realize how real they were until after finishing my Clifothic journey, my initiations, and being brought into the realm of the dragons after finishing the Clifoth. Because that's what lays beyond the Clifoth, is working with dragons. Dragons are the most ancient and primordial beings that exist. This is why the wisdom of dragons can be so immense, and as well why dragons can be so misunderstood, because they don't speak our language. In a sense they do, but they speak they speak it in a different way, through vibration and energy, right? So this is why when you're working with dragons, your energy has to be attuned in a certain way. I know that dragons were in my life at the beginning of my journey before the cliff off, but now that I've finished that system and I've went through that, I can see how powerful the dragons are, and really that they bleed into every aspect of the universe. I was reading an article that talked about how there's a dragon. um I'll try to find this article. There's a dragon, or the darkness that is the universe is actually a black dragon that is all of that, encapsulated within all of that. So the black matter that stems through the universe, you could say is a dragon, is draconian energy. So this is as well where we get draconian energy from, and the draconian path. I'll be talking about the draconian path in a later video. Right now, I'm just going to talk about dragons though. But dragons are what gave birth and spawned the draconian path, the draconian currents. Dragon, Draco, right? And I've heard that the word Draco is just an occult word for dragon. If we look in Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy, Draco, dragon. The dragon was the antithesis. Harry Potter had to fight the dragon. Once fighting the dragon, he became stronger. In this scenario, it's about riding the dragon, right? It's about becoming the dragon. And through becoming the dragon, we can ride the dragon. So along the first day, oh my voice crack. The first day that I started to work with dragons, it showed me really where animation comes from. Because what happened was literally I'm brought into this realm. There's like clouds, there's there's mountains. It kind of looks like the Himalayan mountains a little bit, like how you'd see it depicted in literally animations and cartoons. And not that my subconscious was just drawing upon it. This was a real place. I get to the front gate. The dragon's like, "Hey, what are you here for?" And then looks at a list, like goes down the list. Other dragon comes up behind him like, "Oh, he's with me." He's like, "So I'm gonna be your dragon instructor today." Guys, yeah, this sounds crazy, but after going through a Qliphothic initiations, this was the most fun I had in a while because it wasn't a ritual. Like, it's not dark. Working with dragons isn't dark at all. The wisdom is primordial, preemination, and to get to it, like that's why you had to go through the journey, why you've amassed so much power within the Qliphoth to um transcend that black hole yourself, and then reignite your soul, you could say, and then ascend out of the Qliphoth with your wings of the soul. And that as you so yeah, to get here took so much pain, and I'm like, this is fun. I can see. Okay, yeah, so continuing with the journey. So he's like, I'm gonna be teaching you. So first, can you shape shift into a dragon? And then I was like, okay, when I think of it, no, no, I have not done that, so I don't know. But then I was like, okay, serpent form. I did serpent form with Shiva, who's also known as the dragon rider. I'll go into that more in later videos. But Shiva's known as the rider of the dragon, of the dragons. This also shows his power, because when you're working with dragons, it's not about, well, it's not taming them, right? But you have to be at a certain frequency to understand certain dragons, to withhold those energies and use them. If you're not attuned, if you don't understand transmutation, then working with some dragons, right? Heavy energies I'm talking about, will not might not benefit you. If you're heavy fire, you have no ground, you're not earth at all, and you work with the water dragon. I don't know if the effects will, it's not, don't let things limit you. Everything is transmutation, but I mean in what you're trying to accomplish or achieve, right? But if you're a water sign that was using a fire dragon, you can use that to manifest and then draw in those energies to you. So it's, again, it's all perception and how you view it, what you're able to do. There's so many different levels, depths, we're all different. Um, but in a sense, when you start to work with one dragon species or one dragon kind, whether it be an elemental dragon, a fire dragon, an ancient spirit or soul dragon, right? There's different kinds. It's just like the Goetia. This being can do this. That being can do that. This being can do this, right? So it's having another tool. It's having tools and another arsenal. Okay, so back to, he's like, can you shapeshift into a dragon? And I'm like, snake form. And then I go into a giant dragon in a sense, and then I'm and I love imaginations like this because they're so real, right? They're so, like, it's fun. I feel like I'm just watching TV or playing a video game, but instead I'm exploring my inner consciousness and understanding a realm and aspect that is within myself, as it is also, you could say, outside, but at the core of everything, everything is within. So as I started to work with the dragon, right, I became the dragon. From becoming the dragon, I'm now thinking like a dragon. I'm taking on the vibration. No, I'm not thinking like I need to eat, I need to eat that thing and breathe fire. No, it's literally immense wisdom and knowledge I start to download within my own being and my own physis. Just like when I became the snake, I learned certain symbolisms that help me to transcend, that help me to transform and grow. From snake energies, I learned that I'm just shedding my skin with every death, with every death and rebirth, with every ego disillusion death, until to the point I dissolve the center. And even that needs to be dissolved. And with that, we're talking about enlightenment, right? Because what these paths are designed to do, every path leads to the same place, death. What is death? Death is just an energy. When you are tuned to death, you transcend it. Death, through death, all paths are connected. So by dying, by choosing to dissolve your ego and die to the experience, you are able to know everything. You are able to walk any path. You are able to manifest and create as you desire because you're no longer limited by the false self, by the false sense of self, the ego. Because the ego is a box. We view ourselves in our mind in a box, right? And then we're like, I need to get out, I need to get, and then you expand. You go through limitless expansion until the point that you realize you are the all, and then you dissolve, you subside into the nothingness. And from being nothing, you're able to be everything. In a similar way, when we look at Bruce Lee, what movies did he have? Enter the Dragon, the Dragon, the Dragon. And with that movie, he was showing you the power of the dragon, the ability of the dragon. Dragons aren't just energies that we work with. No, they start to transmute our physis and our energy, our body, right? To become more like, stronger, like faster, more powerful. Um, and as they do that, right, they start to alter our limit. They start to alter our DNA, awakening the dormant DNA, right? The dark matter, the dormant, something that we could not see, just like our path and our journey. We went into the darkness in order to liberate it with our consciousness, right? We're literally like a torch walking through, or with a torch in our hand, walking through the night as things are just coming at us. And then at some point we get to our destination, which is the understanding of ourself. We get to ourself. And then from getting to ourself, we uncover ourself, we know ourself, and now everything is illuminated because we have that aspect of ourself that does not, that can't, that can see, that can't not see, because it was what was here before creation, before before this emanation of this matrix. So when we liberate ourselves with that self, we are able to see all these things that we couldn't see before and download and integrate our energies. And this is what the dragon does. So by working with the archetype and the symbolism of the dragon, it brings you back into your immortal or your primordial and eternal self. The dragons are the first emanation. They are what taught Hecate. They are what taught Lucifer when they spawned from the void, when they were just cast into nothing, right? The dragons are what hold immense wisdom. They are pre-emanation and primordial, depending on the dragon. And by working with them, what that does is liberate this. It brings out our soul and our psyche. So this is why when you look at um, Bruce Lee, everyone sees him as an apex predator, an apex being, right? Because he controlled his environment. He dominated and decimated his environment the with the will of the dragon, embracing the will and the power, the strength of the dragon. But on top of that, also choosing to always evolve and grow. He was focused on his mind, his body, and his soul, his psyche, right? He was always reading, always exercising and meditating. That is the dragon. That's embracing the dragon, that fiery passion. When we become a dragon, we're not breathing fire, right? What we're doing is allowing that fire to be breathed, birthed from us. We are breathing the fire through our actions, through our will, through everything that we are doing, right? We are fiery as a being, embracing the path of nothingness. And with that, everything, doing what we desire, and from that, paving our own way and our own path. And this video is going to lead into walking the draconian path, or the path of the dragon. I'm just going to finish up with just the rest. So he initiated me, I turned into a dragon, we start flying, I start learning the wisdom of the dragon, and we're going to different areas and different places, and from that I'm taking on the vibration of those areas. So I can also see Amalek, which is the dragon behind the cliff off, I learned that from Universal Masteries videos. First time I ever heard of that. I vibed with it so heavily. I'm like, this makes so much sense. I didn't I didn't know, like, from a conscious perspective, but when he was talking about the dragon that consumes chaos, Amalek, the black dragon, I just vibed with that, and that made so much sense. And at that point in time, I couldn't work with Amalek yet because as myself, I was so chaotic. I was still going through the cliff off, but I was like, I know what I need to work with when I finish my rituals and going up the tree, right? So as I started to go up the tree, at some point, Amalek came to me, or I communed with Amalek, and they seemed like flying everywhere. And he has such an immense presence that I can see why I couldn't commune with him earlier. It's one, not because I couldn't, it's because, well, one, I couldn't see that. I wasn't ready to see that vibration. Just like in World of Warcraft, if you can't see something that's really huge yet, because you're not the right level, you just see an orb of what it is. And I've noticed that's deities. I had a friend, not into magic at all, had a fucking green orb just float always be floating by her, right? And she didn't know what that was, and then I was like, oh, that's Hecate. For me, the green orb is always Satan, but I got the feeling to say Hecate, and it's because she can't perceive the limitless depths of Hecate, so her consciousness will narrow it to an orb or a sphere floating around her, because at least it's consciousness, right? The consciousness is by you, so it's attuning you and it's empowering you. But yeah, the same with Amalek. So he was so big, but I could see him now because I had the astral development. I had the astral sight to understand the awareness of what that was. And then from being attuned, like, so I can now work with him because I was able to transmute my own chaos and subside it, so that when I worked with him, right, this dragon and being of immense power, right, he didn't consume me. Just like Karanzon, right? You have to let go of everything in the Cliffoth, let go of everything that you thought you were, that you thought you are, or that, yeah, that you thought you were, in order to have your ego consumed instead of yourself, your soul, and your psyche, because Karanzon will test you on your ego, right? So you have to dissolve it to get through, to transcend, to get past that trial. And then it's the same with the dragons. Amalek will test you. The test is, were you able to subside those energies and not be so chaotic, so that when they taught you that, well, when they met with you, they didn't consume you, because it's all again, not if you're friends or not, it's an energetic exchange, right? So that as you worked with Amalek, right, he helps to source you and show you source in his presence. You take on that presence of source, you take on and you become Amalek. And from becoming Amalek, you become a source avatar. You become an avatar of source, right? You went into source, you stopped being like, right, subsided your ego, you stopped being what you were, you went into source, and then from that you allowed source to fill your vessel from the many dark nights of the soul that cleansed you and pushed all of these things that were no longer serving you out of your your energy. Using your kundalini, it purified your being, right, so that you could embrace your source. You've now transmuted yourself, you've transcended and taken on that source. And from taking on that source, right, you are now an emanation of source. You are an avatar of source. Whereas you were just an avatar of your ego, your mundane self, you are now an avatar of. I'm being cleansed. One second. When the kundalini is streaming through your body, sometimes it will cause pain and discomfort. I've had this throughout my life. I've had this so much, especially with stomach pains as well. So what was happening right now is it was cleansing through, I forgot what's on the right side, but there's organs on the right side that when this energy comes through and you start to channel it, it will cleanse your body as well. So it's helping to beam out the illness, or anything that I've been holding on to, right? Because illness cannot exist in high alkaline environments, and as well high vibrations, right? So as we take on these high vibrations of, well, you could say Reiki if you practice Reiki, but of source, right? It will start to stream through your body, cleansing your organs, cleansing your whole being. And I actually just felt that right now, similar when I was getting Reiki done. She was doing Reiki on my foot, and my kidneys were going crazy. And then she showed me a book where the exact place on the foot was the kidneys. So it showed that when she was, you know, foot massages are really beneficial, guys. No joke, like, invest in that. So as she was massaging my feet, right? Or Reiki, it streamlined that energy and that current to dissolve the dissipation in my kidneys so I could cleanse myself. Really good a really good tea that can help you is elderberry. The energetic properties of that will help to dissolve uh any kidney disease issue and help you to flush out as well your urinary tract, or that area. The body and its mechanics are tied in heavily to the occult, to everything that you're going through. I literally felt as if I was dying during going through the auth and that experience. Don't take any of this lightly. Be serious about your path. I'm someone that is especially when I was going through the cliff off, I was very disciplined. The way I ate, the way I thought, everything that I did. It's only when getting out, I actually returned to my normal mundane consciousness, but with everything that I had learned along the journey, right? So I went through the gate at the beginning and I came back out the gate knowing magic, knowing alchemy, knowing all these things, um, understanding this greater reality and becoming source. And as I came back through source as the source avatar, right, with those energies of source, I came back into my being, now liberating my old consciousness and awareness, updating it with source. So I'm always having that stream through me. I am source. I am always source. I've always been source. The illusion was perceiving that you were not source. But you have to go through all this. This is why you walk the path. This is why you embrace the journey. You have to go through all that immense pain and suffering so that you can become your source from it. Like a diamond, right? Diamonds are created through immense pressure. You are in the cliff off becoming the black diamond through all the heat, of the infernal divine being pushed at you, pressed at you, and then you come out of it as the black diamond, right? And then from being the black diamond and emanating those energies, that is the philosopher's stone. So you went through all of that in order to become the black diamond, in order to become the philosopher's stone. And it was all from not slaying the dragon, but by becoming the dragon, embracing the dragon in all ways, so that we can then ride the dragon, right? So I communed with Amalek, and then Amalek is destroying all the chaos within me and around me that was no longer serving me. So my life, I was now going from immense chaos, being uplifted out of the chaos, out of the hell realms, to now be in, not the heavens, but the nothingness. To understand that I was in the void. I'm always creating my reality. I created all my trials, everything, right? I am Satan. I am Lucifer. I am all the demonic kings because I've worked with all the demonic kings. And after that, I was a child of darkness, raised into a father of darkness to understand that I am the darkness. I am what's always creating everything, and I always was, as you are, as you walk this path, right? I see everything as just little chess pieces that were just all showing me who I was. So whether it be Belial, me going through experiences with Belial is just the subconscious aspect of myself, so that when I initiated and I told the universe what I wanted, it gave me the guides, it gave me the beings to bring me back to who I was and who I am so I can become my greatest version. So like from sending out the vibration, I brought beings into my existence to help me pathwork each gate, become those beings, take on that vibration and emanation and become the demonic king, right? And from becoming the demonic king, what taught Lucifer, what taught Hecate, right? The dragons. I become the dragon. And from becoming the dragon, I become the rider of the dragon. So I'm riding Amalek as it's destroying or consuming all the chaos around me with its pure divine fire of swords. And I in that moment became the Kalki archetype, the consumer, or I was consuming source, or I was using my source to consume all chaos and destroy all chaos around me and fight that. And it's the same with the elites. The elites use demons to bind us, to make to put a spell on us, to make sure that our vibration does not rise. What Amalek desires is to destroy that 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 system, the elite, the Illuminati, the government, and masonry, right? Desires to destroy that because it's chaos. It's a chaotic system, and when we source it, when we become source, more pants. When we become source, this allows us the same ability where around us we are now a black hole, but we are star trans like um pulling in energy and then sending out energy, so pulling in the matrix and then sending out into the matrix what we desire, so we are as a source infection into this matrix that is chaotic, so we start to consume it, and at one point the matrix, when enough of us do this work with Amalek, pass through the clip off, it will transcend the matrix and actually cause a global DMT release, so everyone will start to go through the death experience that we've already been through. Many people are, psychedelics, all that stuff. That's the whole craze. All of this is linked together. So it's pushing us to become source. Reality is pushing us forward to become it. And some of us understand and know this process. And that's why we're teaching this. That's why we're trying to show others of the paths so you don't get consumed with the chaos. So you don't get so fed up with the chaos. Um, and this is the wisdom of the dragons. They teach you how to control this reality. And I'm gonna make a part 2 video to dragons as well, but just letting you guys know as well, I play League of Legends, and in that video game actually is dragons in the whole mythology, right? Dragons were the first emanation that taught magic to different champions or characters such as Pantheon, right? And then Pantheon, their civilization goes on to become galactic. And then the dragons come back and they're like, "Oh shit, you created that?" And so the dragons gave influence to that video game. That video game, millions of people play that video game, right? They're all being influenced by this energy of the dragon. There's different Kaisa, a champion in the game, right? Kaisa is a name of Hecate. I was literally like looking up what the fuck Kaisa meant. What Kaisa? I just kept hearing that. And the game was like calling out to me. And then I found out that it's another name for Hecate. And just to see that association, Kaisa is what spawned from the void. She is the void empress. What is Hecate? The first dragon that spawned from the void. She even has a dragon skin in the game. So the fact that that is some heavy symbolism. Uh and then as well Skyrim, dragons, right? A lot of people play that game. It's really popular. It's about mythology and symbolisms. It attunes you. It has vampires. It has lichens in that game, right? Playing that game attunes you to those energies. And this is as well archetype magic. Dragons can teach you archetype magic. They can teach you how to manifest, how to create your reality, how to meditate, cleansing your energy. You work with different dragons, different elementals to show you what they're able to do, or what you're able to do with those energies. And from working with the dragons, you become the master of dragons. You become the master dragon. And so yeah, with that, guys, that was the dragons, what they teach, their immense wisdom, why you should work with them. I talked a little bit about Amalek. This is a video exclusively for my Patreon, just because of the content that I talked about and how deep it goes. So look forward to more, deep stories and me just talking about my path and learning from it. So I'm with these videos, I'm teaching you from square one on this Patreon to go from to go from understanding the Sephiroth and the Cliffoth, understanding dragons and bringing these energies into your life so you can too you can as well you can too you can as well um transcend the Cliffoth, and that's what I'm trying to teach is transcendence, becoming your greatest version, evolution. So as well, if you want a consultation with me, my services are actually kind of being like filled up at the moment, but message me um either on my Instagram, occult cat TV, or on my Gmail, occultcattv at gmail.com. OCCULTCAT TV at gmail.com. And I can teach you guys how to work with dragons, how to transcend the cliff off, and just how to change your life and get out of the chaos. And I do this because people taught me how to do this. I was lost, I was in the void, going far into the darkness. I knew so much about the dark path. I didn't know where I was going. And then I embraced Source, and that led me everywhere that I needed to be, helped me start to create a greater reality for myself. So I give these services, my shamanic service, my consultation service to help you guys understand your path. And with that, I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste. Peace from me and the dragons. Mass love. Have a beautiful day, guys. This is Occult Cat TV. I'm your host, O'Shea, as well, Tanya. Later.